Setting up to be quite a pivotal day. These are the first in-person negotiations between Israel and Lebanon in decades. Is this performative diplomacy, or could it actually lead to something more substantial and possibly even a peace agreement?
Good morning, Jumana. I wouldn't say performative here. I think especially on the Lebanese side and the U.S. side, they do have an interest in going into these talks, right? From the Lebanese side, they want the ceasefire now. They want the attacks to stop, as that has really wreaked havoc across the country. And for the U.S. side, they need to have some sort of talks between Israeli and the Lebanese side in order to kind of facilitate their own talks with Iran that might actually continue, as we have seen reports from before. The thing is that Lebanon wants to go into these talks and demanding a ceasefire before discussing any other item, potentially a sustainable solution. But we've seen Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu saying that they will not stop the attacks and they will demand that Lebanon disarms Hezbollah. Now, these talks are, of course, fraught, right? There are a lot of issues that need to be resolved before going into the details of how Lebanon would disarm Hezbollah, especially after it failed the last time it vowed to do so. And of course, that led to Hezbollah joining the war on Iran and firing rockets and drones into Israel, and of course, prompting Israel to respond back with a massive air campaign and of course, ground operations that Israel said could lead to the occupation of at least 10% of Lebanese territory.
Yeah. You know, it was interesting overnight, Wafiq Safa, which is, he's one of the high-ranking officials from Hezbollah, did tell Associated Press, as for the outcomes of this negotiation between Lebanon and Israel, we're not interested in them, we're not concerned about them at all, and we are not bound by what they agreed to. How much political sway does Hezbollah actually have here in terms of their ability to jeopardize whatever is agreed?
They can, and I think the group sent a signal, albeit a small one, over the weekend when they held a protest outside the government house, which is the Grand Sarai, and protested these talks and said that they would reject them. And the fear in Lebanon is that Hezbollah might actually go ahead and topple this government to thwart the talks. And even if the talks go through and some agreement is made, they will make sure that there won't be any implementation of these talks. Hezbollah is very much cornered domestically and maybe not able to go all out locally and use whatever advantage it has because it is also cornered. You have on one side, it is being pummeled by Israeli attacks, and then a government that banned its military and security apparatus, as we have seen earlier, or 2 months ago, I think. And so it is cornered politically inside Lebanon and also outside. Iran is now in talks with the U.S. for an agreement that could potentially lead to a sustainable solution between the two. But also, it's hard to see Hezbollah disarming at all or surrendering its weapons. It is very much linked to the Iranian regime, not like the Houthis and Hamas are, but they are ideologically linked and almost a partner to the Iran Revolutionary Guard Corps. So these two are very much connected, and a lot of the experts we speak to say it is hard to see Hezbollah surrendering its arms without the collapse of the Iranian regime.